the Baby Channel. I wanted to cover a massive failure of the entire American media machine, or whatever you want to call it. This is something that across the spectrum, left, right, center, independent, mainstream media, in my view, as far as I've seen, absolutely dropped the ball. And I think this is also partially a result of just the tribal nature of this country. Everyone's focused on pushing the narrative for their particular team, and they kind of get lost in that objective, and it blinds them from some details, right? So the classified documents, right? One side would like to pretend like that's not part of the story, or it's lies, or maybe the documents were planted by the deep state, or they're not that big of a deal. Otherwise, they wouldn't have taken so long to act. But of course, if they acted quickly, they would have criticized them for acting quickly because they're giving Trump a hard time. It's a political thing, right? I bet you they wouldn't have jumped on Obama that quick. They take their time, give him all the courtesies. They ask him, plead with him. They send him subpoenas, give him every chance to simply provide the documents, and then that's it. We never get to the raid and all this stuff that's happening right now. Totally within his ability. He had months and months and months. They've been begging and begging and begging. Um, but instead, Trump chose this path. But yet, we have half the media that would like to say that this is a political stunt and all this kind of stuff. If it's a political stunt, the orchestrator is Trump himself. He's the one who dragged things on, you know, pretty much spit in the face of the concept of law and order in this country, right? Like, spit on the Constitution, ripped it up, spit on law and order. That's Trump that did that. Let this drag on and on and on, and then he finally lights the fuse by the government is keeping it quiet as they should and as they normally, right? Trump is the one who puts it out in the media. Oh, they raided me, and started this whole fiasco. Where did the media fail? Big failure. Left, right, independent, corporate, doesn't matter. I haven't seen anyone in the media even discuss this very, very critical question, right? Because again, everyone focuses on the narrative that is convenient to their particular tribe. So let's be in the world of reality. Clearly, he had some highly sensitive materials that we shouldn't have had, right? But the question that no one's asking is, how is it possible for a president or anyone else to remove highly classified documents, right? And just have them in a box somewhere unsecured, and take it to the extent of having it after they're out of office. How does this happen again? Now, those of you guys are not military, law enforcement, or anything like that, you may not appreciate, security protocols, right? There's a lot of protocols regarding the handling of highly sensitive information, which has a lot of risk to the country, right? You might have something like a room that you have to badge in and badge out. So, meaning if you try to sneak in behind someone else, you can't get out because you have to use a badge to get out. Extra layers of security. There may be a room or facility that you have to be escorted, regardless of who you are. They could be using biometrics. there's so many different things. The document itself could be tagged and tracked in terms of where it is. There certainly would be a check-in and check-out system. You need to know where the document is at all times. The idea of making a copy of it, yeah, that wouldn't be a thing, because by making a copy, you're completely compromising the security protocols. Because once it's copied and you take it out of the building, all the steps that you've taken to protect this information is null and void. Because how do you protect a random piece of paper that's just floating around in the hands of some old guy, right? Trump is not some, former, military or anything of the sort. Like he doesn't have the training or even understanding necessarily of how to handle and secure information. Now, he should have gotten a lot of advisories and recommendations, as any member of our government that's handling that information should have. I'm sure he's gotten different pamphlets and things about how to keep stuff safe. But bottom line is, the fact that this is even possible to happen in the first place is a massive detail that no one's talking about. Left, right, independent, corporate, no one's talking about that. How is it possible for him to have this information in his basement? Again, this stuff would be highly, highly kept under lock and key, cameras, surveillance, everything, right? How, in spite of all of those systems that should be in place, but are they? How was he able to remove this information and retain it in his possession for this period of time? How was that able to happen in the first place? To partisans on the right who like Trump and are so in this cult that nothing else matters but your team winning, think about the idea of whatever the worst nightmare you can think of, some socialist adjacent president that actually, someone who gets elected, is socialist adjacent. They want to turn this country into Venezuela or something like that. And there's a lot of systems in place to protect them or stop them from doing that, right? But in an effort to sort of rig the system or, force it through, whatever you want to call it, imagine them taking certain documents from the White House, secure documents, and maybe they're going to use it as blackmail to sort of get their way. If you only care about the idea that maybe the Democrats are doing something sneaky because of the election, if that's all you care about, and you're not upset or focused on at all the major breakdown of security protocols, then you're saying that all of your big talk about socialism and this country's being damaged, all that, you're not even being honest. You don't care. You don't care. Because if you're so afraid of socialism and all this kind of stuff, then why aren't you concerned with keeping in place and respecting mechanisms that we have in place to limit the power of the president? Why are you okay with a rogue president if you're so afraid of socialism or whatever? Because if someone gets into office who is leaning that way, are you okay with them just doing whatever, taking out secret documents and maybe giving it to our enemies or whatever scary stuff you can think of? You're okay with that? You're okay with let's say you're afraid of Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders was in Russia and blah, 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 right? Let's say what you're saying is true. He is some Russian plant or he's trying to bring communism. Why are you enabling him if he were to ever run and win? Why are you enabling him to be able to just do whatever he wants and then be able to say, well, Trump did it. When Trump took the documents out, he didn't get in trouble, so why should I get in trouble? Why are you okay with opening the door for a future president who does not share your ideology, who, in your view, would destroy this country? Why are you okay with opening that door to those people being able to just ignore the laws, ignore the rules, and do whatever, and just hide behind their partisan fan base, right? So when they go and they, Bernie Sanders, President Bernie Sanders is trying to bring us communism, and then you guys are, screaming out like this is not right, this is not American, whatever. He's able to hide behind an entire partisan base that's just shielding him, and no matter what Bernie Sanders does, the documents were obviously not that important, or the Republicans are just attacking Bernie Sanders because it's a political stunt. Like, why are you okay with opening the door to that happening, to having a communist president of the United States being able to go full force and bring us communism because of the precedent that Donald Trump is setting, that a president is above the law, he can do whatever the hell he wants, and if you try to hold him accountable, all you got to say is, oh, that's political, you're attacking him because you don't like his politics and you're weaponizing the DOJ. So why are you opening the door that a communist president can do whatever he wants and hide behind any attacks on him or political attacks? Why is the focus not on law and order? Having a country that has laws that have meaning, right? We have constraints on the power of the president. We have a constitution. We have protocols. We have rules. Why are you not prioritizing that over, your team? Why are you okay opening a door to the things that you claim you fear the most in terms of destruction of this country? How can we constrain a communist president of the United States after half this country has turned a blind eye to all of the things that Trump has done, all of the just spitting in the eye of the law and rules? I'm going to do whatever I want to do. No one can tell me what to do. I mean, dictatorship. Are millions of Americans okay with dictatorship as long as the dictator is someone that shares their ideology? Is that the idea? Right. This is the Baby Channel. The Baby comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well. It's interesting. People on the right, they shake their heads at the left about censorship. They want to censor people who, in your view, just has ideas they disagree with. The left doesn't believe in freedom, right? The left is pro-censorship. That's your concern, right? That's what you guys say. And then you point out to the left that, hey, you open the door to censorship, next time around, you're going to be the ones that censored. How can you on the right call out the left for being pro-censorship and letting them know that it goes both ways? If you don't put your foot down and say this is not right, we have a freedom of speech in this country. If you don't do that, next time it's going to be you that's censored. If you have the intelligence to recognize that logic, why don't you recognize the same logic in terms of enabling Trump's behavior, which opens the door and sets the precedent for a communist president in the future in this country to turn this country into a communist country or whatever craziness they want to do, because Donald Trump has set the precedent that a president is above the law. Because no matter what you do, the one thing that you can do to stop a president is impeachment. But we've set the precedent that all you need to do is have a political party that is in lockstep with you, and they will just vote against it. So we can have a communist president of the United States that goes and bans all guns, so no one's allowed to have any guns. Make us have to put chips in our hands or whatever crazy, scary thing. They go in and do all this stuff and go too far, violate the Constitution. Why are you setting the precedent that that communist president cannot be stopped? Because if the Republican Party resists this president returning us into a communist country, they try to resist and fight back. And they say, we're going to impeach this president because they're violating the rules, right? If they try to do that, all the Democrats or whichever party it is that's pushing this communist president, all they have to do is just be super partisan and just say, oh, we don't see it, right? The voters, our voters, like what we're doing, and that's our job. We're doing what the voters want. Our voters want communism, so we're going to do communism. We don't think it's impeachable for a president to do what the voters want. That's not what our founding, that's all they gotta do, just say that, and then they just say, no, we vote no for impeachment. And then you can have a communist president stay in power and continue to violate, the Constitution or whatever rule, whatever protocols, have secret documents in their basement, fire any, what do you call it, guys? There's certain people in the government that, they're like check and balances type of thing. I forgot the name of it. There's a couple people that Trump had fired, and these are the people that are supposed to sort of be, checks and balances, right? So if the president's going too far, someone it has ability to go in and do something about it and say, hey, actually you're not supposed to be able to do this, blah blah blah. You sat by and let Trump just do whatever he wants to do and open the door to a communist president doing the same thing. And every time you try to push back, well, Trump did it, well, Trump did it, well, Trump did it. And the way our country works, we have this thing called precedent. You have limited your own ability to constrain a rogue communist president in the future. You have limited your ability to stop that from happening. Because that guy is going to say, but Trump, but Trump, but Trump, but Trump. And they'll be right. Why is it, like in that situation in the future, that theoretical future, what would be the explanation why Trump did something and it was accepted and there's no punishment, nothing? What would be the basis to now say, oh, this communist guy, no, but he's the one that needs to be stopped? It's not the way it works. If you allow Trump and Republicans to do whatever the hell they want to do, that means you're okay with a communist party in this country, unconstrained, unrestricted, being able to do whatever terrifies you the most. You're okay with enabling that to happen. Think about that. This Baby channel, Baby comment section below, click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell, be well. Goes both ways, guys. Both ways. You allow this, and so will they. Good to see you, Shay. Right, Shay. To hell with the party, to hell with this cults, tribes. It's 1% versus the 99%. That's it. That's the only battle. Nothing else matters. Left, right, Democrats, Republicans. Wake up.